Hey, I'm Colin,
And I'm Chris.
and this is episode 3 of You Enjoy Ourselves.
This is a series where we share a clip with each other. I don't know what Colin's about to share, it's his turn. And really, we're just breaking down concepts that are happening within the clip. We've been doing Trey lately. We'll branch out from there. Just to reiterate this isn't a note for note transcription of the song or the clip or how to of a whole song. This is a fun conversation about some of the things we hear happening. So, without taking up any more time, Colin, take it away. I have no idea what you chose, so I'm really pumped.
That's why I have this silly background up here, and I'm going to reveal it really quick. In the end of the last episode, I said this episode will be from a very beautiful venue. Chris, what's your guess of what venue it will be?
Okay, so my guess is the Gorge. That is what
Yep,
first came to mind.
it's the Gorge, and there's no way you're going to guess the song. You could take a stab at it, but you have no idea the concept, so give it a shot.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
What's the
I,
year? What's the day, man?
I have
That's so
no
much, right?
idea, man. I'm just gonna go with like a kind of a general Ariba jam or something like that.
Not a Reba, but a cross-eyed and painless.
I love that,
Gorge.
man.
20,
Cool.
20, what is it? 2016. I was at this show when I lived back out in Oregon, and me and my partner, we took a drive all the way up. It's a lovely 8 or 10 hour drive from Eugene, Oregon, and we were in Ashland area, Southern Oregon. But it's really a fun experience to live on the West Coast because it takes forever to get anywhere. Like Seattle to Eugene, 4 or 5 hours, LA, 10 hours. It's just forever. It's a terrible place to tour in a way. Um, but yeah, this night was really fun. Gorge is just always fun. Have you ever been? Ever made it to a
I
Gorge
haven't.
show?
It's on my wife and I are both huge fans, and it's on our bucket list of places. She's been to way more shows than I have. She toured like in high school and then college and stuff, and has been to a lot more venues than me. But for both of us, that's one that is like high in our list that we really want to go to. And I just on my group call last night, somebody was saying, Trey's doing Red Rocks as well. That's another bucket list with the orchestra. So like that's
Oh,
another one I
cool.
love to go to that I've never been to. Anyway, no, I've never been there. So man, I'm totally jealous of of this.
I was actually my first show in 2009, first live full fish show. I just never got to see them when I started getting into fish in '98 for about 9 years. But I saw like every single side project a million times. Jazz Mandolin, Pork Tornado, just because I lived near Burlington. They were always had Fishman side projects, and Vida Blue. I was actually became pretty good friends with Russell Batiste, the drummer from Vida Blue. Rest in peace. He passed a few years
Cool.
back.
Well, not
Um,
cool, but cool that you were friends with him. Yeah.
yeah, he was great. Great. I love that. Teal Burbridge. I love that side project of Vida Blue. And then Trey Band. But I've never seen Gordo's side projects. Like I've still never seen it. But anyway, my first show was Gordo 9, and wow, that venue is just it's breathtaking. It kind of sucks when it's fire season because it happens a lot out there around that time when they play. So hopefully you catch a show when it's not wildfire smoke season. But all right, so yeah, it's this Gorge, and the here I'm giving it away. This is the idea. Play the vocal melody. And
Huge.
we're going to listen, and it's not just a 30-second clip today. It's more about 4.5 minutes or so. And we're going to actually first just learn the vocal melodies. And then we're going to just say, hey, he did it again. Hey, he did it again. Hey, he did it again. And it's really comical in a way because I'll do a screen share here. We're going to use John Philbin's, give him a subscribe there. Everybody go to John Philbin on YouTube, give him a subscribe. We're using his cross-eyed cut. If you go to the set list, what's really funny about this is that they opened the second set. Fish stole the show. He was MVP that night. He was really funny. But if you look down here at the notes, cross-eyed was teased in Stash, Ghost, Chalk Dust. And tease means when like Trey plays it or one of the band member plays it on an instrument, right? And then quoted means they sing it. Is that right? I think that's right. I'm not sure what the
Sounds good to me.
because
Yeah.
and then they say they teach or quoted Cross-eyed in No Man's Ghost 2001 Cavern. Um, what's the use? Or that's different. But the thing was that night, like they just kept going back to it. Still waiting, and Fishman with his like goat vibrato voice. It was just comedy the whole night, but they kept going back to it, so it kind of, you know, made it a really special night. And like people were walking back. It's like a mile walk back to the campground. Still waiting. Like the whole night was a still waiting type of night.
Am I
So
remembering this funny? I might be like mixing this up, but I feel like in the 2012 Dick's Weekend run on like the Sunday night, somebody out there, I'm not always great with dates and stuff like that, but I feel like they did a similar thing. I don't know if it was with Cross-eyed, but somebody out there can either confirm or tell me if I'm like completely making that up. But I love this, and I love that you're like tapping into the play the melody thing. That's such an underutilized a way to get your improv going. So this is cool, man. I'm
I'm just
pumped.
curious on that Dix. You said it's 2012.
I think so. I don't
Yeah,
quote me. I
and
think it was.
and you're not sure if it was a cross-eyed or you think it was a cross-eyed.
I think it was, but
Yeah,
I'm not like I'm not 100%. I remember like jumping up and I had the live stream on and I was just really excited. I
they
just
kept
remember
going
really
back to
liking
it. Nice.
it.
Yeah, I mean, and they do that. Like, they find themes and it's comedy. It's like musical comedy to like go back to it, but it's also like it's just fun. It's not
This
even
is
just
fun.
funny. It's fun to go
It's
back to because it's a not so distant memory or whatever. All right, so let's just start by. I think we're gonna start by. Let's just listen real quick to the vocals, um, and familiarize ourselves with what they sing. There's the verse is really where like I think where Fishman does facts are simple and facts are straight, and he does that really fast kind of singing. But I'm calling the verse the there was a line, there was a photograph. Maybe it's like the pre-chorus or whatever, and then the chorus is still waiting, right? So let's listen just to the vocal a little bit. But this technique, like if you listen to a lot of like or any jazz like player who knows really how to solo really well, you often hear them once it's time to go through the chorus and solo. They're teasing, tagging, whatever, quoting the head, the melody. They're using it in their not just shredding eighth notes or arpeggios or scale work. They're kind of dipping in and out of the melody to or of the vocal melody to or whatever the head was of the song to help them create good improvisation. All right, let's just listen to the vocals real quick. That's more the chorus. Yeah, Fishman was wacky that night. It was so great. And then Trey starts. So before we get into Trey, just pull up. Here's the different vocal melodies, right? There was, and we didn't hear them sing this part, but they did it before. Let me go close up here so you can see. And a good shot. Here's the vocal melody. And then it repeats, right? It's just that top line there. Sometimes I'm not sure if Trey bends that, which has a little bit more flavor to it than just. It's a good exercise in trying to execute proper bends. Get that half step bend, and it's really cool. And I'm not sure I didn't overanalyze it to see like if he actually does that or not, but he might have. So that's that one. And then for any of the theory people wondering, hey, why did he put this in A major? Chris, you want to talk about why I might have put this key in A major, even though the song's kind of centered around B?
Yeah, the I guess the giveaway if you're playing along like to what Colin was just doing, think of it like in first position of B minor pentatonic, And the fact that that ring finger, or actually, I was looking at the music. I didn't watch what you were doing, but if you were just fretting the notes without bending them, it would likely be your ring finger hitting that B string ninth fret. That's a little giveaway that you're in Dorian territory. And so B Dorian is coming from the key of A major. And so, like, what I like to think of is like just the pentatonic plus that major six is basically what you're doing there. If do you want to do it like a minor pentatonic with the major six, or like I could do it so people could see, like it's an easier way to like get your modal sound across without thinking of a new scale pattern. I don't know. I like that approach sometimes.
Yeah, I don't like when I'm playing the song. I definitely don't think about the A major business of it at all. I just did it for when I was putting this out there. So there's no accidentals in the key in the music, right? There could have been that F sharp or G sharp or whatever if you put it in B major, etc. But say you're in B minor pentatonic, but you got a major six in there, which is the focal point. I was gonna say you can't see me, but it almost seems like David Byrne wrote the song for Trey because Trey loves Dorian and the melody is so amazing and the tempo is great. That happens a lot. I know you can't see me, but I'm smiling. That happens a lot with Fish covers, right? There's this phenomenon of like, as we get into Fish, they have 1,000 or whatever songs. We're like, oh, Roses is a cover, or Yamar is a cover. Like that just kind of happens a lot. And this was one of them where, I think it was just like written for Fish in a way. I'm projecting that, but anyway, where's that six though? 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7. So right below your flat 7 is a major 6. You can pull that from B major, right, or B Dorian. But like I think Chris said in the last, or I can't remember now, 2 episodes ago, the majority of what Trey plays is minor pentatonic or blues scale stuff. And Dorian's a close second to those, I would say. And you have that bend from the 6 to the flat 7. And to me, that's funk. Right? That's, it's flashlight. It's funk. And then where's it up top? 1 flat 3 4 5 flat 7. Remember, it's a half step below. There's your major 6. And there you're on a B string or the second string. That bend is even, because it's in a higher register, it cuts more. If you want to sound like Trey, master that, or just get your fingers under that. That's 6 to flat 7, right? All right,
good, man. Yeah.
So back to the second melody, which I am calling the chorus melody, the Still Waiting. Now, just real simple, you could play this one that starts on the 5th here, the F sharp, and then it goes down to the minor 3rd. I think that's what one voice is doing. I didn't, again, super analyze who's singing what. I think in the old days, they all did this one, the second one, where they're just flat 7, and, learn it in all these different places. Down an octave. How about the 5th up here?
Can I jump in real quick on something that kind of harkens back to the first episode? If you haven't seen that, check it out, where Colin talks about sequences. And if you look at, I love that you have this written out. And I tend to look at the staff a little more because I'm more interested in looking at what the rhythm is. And if you just look at it, even if you don't read music at all, you could recognize that there is a rhythmic motif. There's a half note, and then see that, and even when they go up to the other part, it's still that same kind of motif happening. And it's just that he's taking the rhythm and he's just kind of swapping out different notes, and it creates a familiarity for the listener. For the player, it's kind of cool because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You already have this really awesome motif happening, and you can just kind of go, oh, I'm just going to harmonize it, or maybe I'll, throw in the blue note or whatever. Like, you can do so much fun stuff with that. But I just wanted to point out that this kind of ties into the Yamar thing you were talking about, where it's rhythmic in nature. Of course, we're using the notes that are in the key and stuff like that, but they end up being less important than the rhythmic motif. So anyway, I don't want to hijack your thing.
No, I'm so glad you brought up the sequence thing because it's at the tail end of the clip too that we're gonna hear too that he does more sequence stuff. But yeah, it's in the written melody. Again, I'm not as familiar with the Talking Heads version, so I'm not sure where they stack that. And just more theory, we they never start on the one. We never hear still waiting. We never hear still waiting or still waiting. Never. It's flat third, still waiting, or fifth, still waiting, or the flat seven, still waiting, which I think is like the main theme of that section. So there's another thing we talked about, avoiding the one. Pitch wise, they kind of avoid the one in the melody there of the chorus. Okay, I think it's time to listen because these. And last thing I wanted to say about these, they happen kind of at random, especially when Trey's playing them. Like he'll pick whatever, if it's the fifth, the flat third, or the flat seven, and he'll do it in all these different spots. So that's more, note name recognition, knowing the geography of your instrument well. Let's just have a listen, and we're not going to break down what he does in between the stuff. We're more just going to talk about how there it is again. And does he tweak it? Does he expand upon it? And then, my favorite, does he dump the truck? Because one thing that this borrowing from the vocal melody does is, first of all, it gives the listener something to latch onto. And, it's familiar, right? That's why we do things like simple play nursery rhyme type of melodies, not necessarily a specific row your boat, but like something simple that the average non-musician listener fan in the crowd in any style of music can pick up, while they're playing, so it becomes familiar. You can come back to it, or they just, they like it. It's easily memorable or easily enjoyable. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into right around 5:30 is where Trey starts. I'll back it up just a second, and we'll do some listening. I'll do a pause, be like, oh, he did it again. Maybe I'll just start raising my hand or something, but we'll talk about a couple of different things. Phil? So we heard a little one there where he kind of went off. He did a little lick. He didn't really dump the truck, but he did a little lick, expanded upon the melody just a little bit there. I'll back up just a sec. Or run.
Nice.
Yeah, please.
Could I hop in? Okay, so like this is also like if you're working on your phrasing, this will tie into the second episode, which actually at the time of recording this hasn't come out yet, but you guys will see it.
Oh, that's right.
I guess it's not a reveal because this will be after, but I talk about musical question and answers. And even though you can go check that one out, but this is a form of like that first motif you could think of as a musical question, and then you can be free to like answer back like a semi dumping of the truck, like you said, like a little like do da ga do do ba digga boo digga ga. You can just do like a little answer back.
Yep.
And again, it takes some of the pressure off. Like, what do I do? What do I do? We'll take that simple motif and then just change it and do something completely random and different in the space in between.
Can I ask you a question? You just said it takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Which thing were you saying takes the pressure off? Having that answer?
No, I meant I'm yeah, you know what I should have been I'm thinking of a lot of times students or it's just like people that I talk to that jam and not just students, friends, me, like there's a pressure sometimes to feel like you need to keep creating something new, or like even the thought of like improvising. Oh, it's this, I'm always spontaneously creating all this stuff. And what I meant more was like a pressure off of like, what do I do? It's like, well, have a framework you're working out of, like like, okay, you've got this musical question, and then that's already kind of set. So there's this rhythmic motif, and like you said, you can swap in and out of the notes, and it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, everything matters in a sense, but it matters way less than the rhythm. And then in that space in between, you're kind of free to just do something different, even if it's a simple quarter note, like here, let me go close up real quick, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
try to
Just do
explain what I mean.
it.
Like, so you're like, and then like a little just answer back, and there's nothing fancy or nothing complicated there, but it's kind of satisfying just to have like something that's almost like set. And I know that seems weird because we're talking really about improvising, but improvising isn't like, think about every conversation you've ever had, the one that we're having right now. Every conversation you've ever had has been a product of improvisation, and yet
Hmm.
I think I simultaneously could say that in none of those conversations are you inventing the word on the spot or even
Right.
inventing the grammar.
Right.
You're using a framework, and the improvisation is really in how you arrange things. It's not, you don't put a pressure on yourself. Oh, I'm talking to Colin, so now I need to invent a cool new word. No, the point is I want to be able to communicate with him. It kind of goes back to what you said about playing the vocal melody, or like in jazz how they would play and really a lot of times I think in those old standards the lyrics sometimes would come afterward, because they would have the melody and then somebody would put lyrics to it. And that's what, you would jazz it up, you would improvise based on that. But there was a larger point I wanted to hit on that I really love that you said, like, for the audience, it's nice. Like, those are the parts I get excited about when I'm listening. And just a real quick, like, little story. I was having some performance anxiety, and I went to my teacher, who's also named Chris. He was my piano teacher and just kind of music mentor and kind of big brother of sorts. And I went to him and I said, "Hey man, I'm playing in this Fish cover band, and I'm not used to all these people coming to my shows. Man, I've been playing in bands since middle school. Nobody would ever come to my shows, and now all of a sudden, all these people are coming because they love Fish. It's and so the first cool little takeaway was,
Built-in crowd, baby. It's very nice.
but the first thing to like consider about the anxiety is like, well, it's not about me anyway. They're not there for me. They're there to hear the music they love. And so like what he said to me was awesome. He's like, what I like to do, this is him speaking. He's like, before I go to play, he's like, I ask myself, how can I be of service to the audience? And I was like, whoa, that's so powerful, because it takes the onus away from me. It literally is not about me. I mean, I'm happy to have fun there and do it, but they're there because they like the music. And so how can I be of service to them? Well, one way is to play things like it would be like, okay, first of all, I'm playing Fish songs, so that's one thing that's familiar. But within that, if I'm jamming, don't just dump the truck the whole time, like you said. Hey, build something together with them. Like, in thinking of like things I've heard Trey say, like, have you ever heard him talk about like how they came up with the hot dog kind of gag? Like,
It
um,
sounds familiar, but I can't remember what the what
uh,
what he said, what the details were. I'm
it's so
sure. I'm
it's so
sure.
incredible. Like, what
Saw
he
that
said
interview.
was something to the effect of, he was thinking about in these big stadiums. He's like, how do we reach like the person in the back row and make it special for them? And he's like, oh well, we'll kind of descend from up, up high. And but it's more the point that, like, I love that he was even thinking that, like, somebody on his, like, he's a bona fide rock star, like, and he's thinking, how can I make it special for the person in the back? Like, how cool is that?
Well,
It
he's sorry to interrupt. He's definitely in these recent decade or so has talked about his love of musical theater
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I mean they've always kind of done that, right? With the
yeah,
chess
yep,
moves back in the 90s or whatever. But I think that was the late
yeah,
Big Cypress, right? Was the
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and well, yeah, yeah, they had
or maybe it was I don't know where it
they
was.
did do that, but they had that earlier too, maybe in like '95. Somebody will remember
Yeah,
exactly, but
Limestone maybe.
the point is they always have had this kind of communal thing about it where we're in this together, you know, like we're it's not just, hey, look at me doing a flashy thing, although there are moments where that definitely is an appropriate thing, like at the end of David Bowie, or think of it like a maze, you know, or like the end where it's like the white lights go on, you're like, holy moly, this is fun, you know, but it has to build to that. It would be
I
exhausting.
gotta talk about that because you brought up, like, the egoic mind sense, the ego sense of hey, it's about me. So my mentor, who was a bandmate and a friend of mine from Flagstaff, Arizona. I lived there in '07 for a year, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful mentor of mine. We would talk about how I didn't really like the hairband type of music, and we would talk about the like that kind of lick, and he called it the look at me. And
I
he would
like
be like,
that.
look at me, look at me, look at me, like singing it at the same time. Look at me, look at me. And he would like replace it with I can't say, but chicks dig me, chicks dig me, chicks dig me, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But so it's and Trey does that, especially at the end of Bowie. He gets his look at me's in, but he doesn't do that 90% of his improvisations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He does that, and he almost does it as like, tribute to the shredders in a way, I think. But anyway, but yeah, I really like what you're saying about like, because what I thought you meant was when you have this vocal melody, it kind of opens up or takes off the pressure. This is what I thought you were meaning of, you gotta create improvisation right away. You can actually lean into the vocal melody for a little bit and get more comfortable, especially if you have those physical anxiety nerves coming into your hands. Go with
Yeah,
something that's familiar. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure if that's exactly what you meant, but that's
no, that's definitely part of it. Yeah, that's definitely part of it. And yeah, it's already a good melody. We already know it's great, so we don't like work with that and then tweak that if you want to. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, and it's a different timbre and texture having an electric guitar or a organ or something do it too when we are used to the vocals singing a word. So it's yeah. All right, should we get back into the listening? All right, let's play. What's that? I just gotta that's not really applicable to today's lesson, but it's worth mentioning. What's that little tease?
That sounded like Under Pressure or something. Dun, 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 or like the
100%.
rhythm.
It
Is
is.
it?
It's
Oh,
100% under pressure.
okay.
Yep.
Again, rhythmically, you just grab the rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And as I was listening to the song, because I listened to it several times, I was like, um, I mean, it's similar to what Fishman's actual verse is. Facts us a million, facts us straight. Maybe Trey was like, I heard, because who knows what his composer mind can hear, but maybe he heard Fishman's vocal melody, maybe, and during the song, and he's like, oh, I'm going to do Under Pressure later. Or maybe it just came up at 6-1. I have no idea. All right, let's keep going.
Cool.
Expanded upon it. Went to the other one. There comes Fishman back with the vocal. Take some time for himself, solo. Got a little more comfortable maybe. And he went up. And he went away. Fifth. He goes back. So he keeps going back and forth and then leaving. And there's Fishman again. I just gotta say, that last little lick he did, wing, da da da. It's a recurring theme with Trey, but it really reminds me of Oysterhead for some reason. I don't know which song. Let me see if I can. That right there. I mean, it's more of that Dorian stuff climbing from 5 to 6 to flat 7. It just reminds me of that Oysterhead era a
Big
bit.
time.
There it is again at the end of some soloing. Just once, then he goes away. Oh, it's cool. There it is again. Listen to John. It was such a fun night. That's kind of dump the truck-ish, I would say. Starting to... There it is again. Just in and out. There's the sequence. Back to it. It's so fun, man. I love it. 9 minutes. I think we're almost there where they finally abandon it. Once we get to 10 minutes, we're out of it. One more. And he's way down here, got the wah pedal on maybe. Yep. And now I think he's done. Woo! This is the sequence that I wanted to end it on. Just this beautiful... Wow! Let's hear that once more. Just that last little sequence. Let him do it. It's epic. All right, we'll stop it there because I don't think they come back to the melody. But
It's hard to turn it off. That's very
yeah.
tough to turn that one off. I just want to keep hearing it. Yeah, man, that is so good. There's so much awesomeness going on in there, and so much of it is based on that sequence concept that you talked about. Like I heard him going in and out of like the main theme you laid out, but then you'd be like he'd have these little other go to da 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 da, you know, and he would use that as a build up, or it'd be like da 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 da, or that one da 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 da. And one thing about that in particular, to kind of start from the end, that jumped out to me is I kind of hit on it I think last time, this forward motion concept of like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you're kind of weaving over into the next bar and moving the music forward toward a resolution. It's really cool.
It's such a cool. It just sounds so conversational, that last one. It just seems like he's telling a story. I really
yes
on that one.
basically.
Um, well, one other thing I wanted to point out, and I wanted to give a shout out to another YouTube channel here,
Cool.
because I was kind of warming up today with um, our
Oh,
guy over here at Playing with the
oh,
Band Jam Tracks. We got to
that's
give
Rip.
them.
Shout out Rip. If you,
Yep.
Rip is he's the you will never meet a guy nicer than Rip. He
Yeah,
is
he's a
just the
great guy.
best. Yeah.
Um, and I was listening to it, and obviously there's no guitar on it, so I wanted to start this off. I forgot the rhythm that Trey plays, which is not applicable to this lesson, is just really. I love it so much. It's just so creative.
Dude, can you unshare and go close up
Sure.
and show her? I think people want to see that. I want to see.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's what I used to play when I was in the Fish tribute, but I'll play it at tempo, then I'll slow it down. Actually, I'm gonna play it with the backing track. That 96, how much faster it is. And there's a saxophone in there too. All right, roughly. Roughly that's what it is.
So
So
good.
power chord from A to B. And then he does a variation of things. I really hear, which is just kind of a blues 4 flat 3 1. It's a little pull off. Now, to get that kind of Trey tone, I always throw in a little bit of my nail to get that kind of scrapey, that kind of tone a little bit. Then there's B minor up top. Sorry, I'll slow it down. He'll either do that or just hit a B down here. And then we gotta, how rock and roll is that? Right? That's just rock and roll right there. Put on the bridge pickup.
That sounds like it could be like in a Thin Lizzy or like
Yeah.
Foghat or I don't know. It's so cool.
100%. 100%. And then that's just right down. Minor pentatonic with a little pull off at the beginning. Oh, I love that rhythm guitar. And one thing that I think in a future episode, let me fix my camera here. That I'm probably going to want to hit on is let's talk about Trey's rhythm because it's not. I don't think it's well. Obviously, his lead is is so impressive. I think it steals away from how great of a rhythm player he is, but he is a fantastic rhythm player. So I would
100%.
probably come up with something in the future about that. Um, any thoughts or questions, Chris, about what we heard in the cross-eyed? I think we pretty much covered that. I do have something else to talk about with vocal melody, but I just want to make sure if there was anything else in the cross-eyed that you heard or wanted to address before we.
No, I think that really I would just encourage everybody, and I'm going to do this. Go back and just really listen to that as a takeaway. In how to. I love how you said he's like telling a story. And don't give the ending away, or like let people like almost I don't know. The whole thing about a cool story is you go along for a ride. It's not just about like here's how it ends. Like, I mean, you could do that. You could just skip right to the ending, but there's a ride you go on. And I think having enjoyed many Fish shows and Trey band shows and stuff like that, or just any kind of jammy improvisational or like a jazz thing. It's about going on that ride with the player, and hopefully there's things that you can grab onto and go, oh, okay, I kind of, even though I'm not thinking about, well, sometimes I am like can't turn off that analytical mind, but it's more like, wow, I could latch onto that, I could grab onto that. Wow, that's fun. He quoted Under Pressure, or wow, he quoted a little TV theme or whatever. I mean, that makes it so fun, and it makes it not only is it a story in the moment, but it creates a story that you tell people after. Like it's awesome. So no, I'll just get ranty here, but no, I think just listen to how he does that, and you'll hear there's no fancy scale or anything like that. It's really simple stuff, but it's I'm beating a dead horse. It's rhythmic.
I
Yeah,
was just gonna cut you off and say it's all rhythm there.
it's
That
rhythm.
just may I mean and. And it's a combination of the tone too, which makes it so sweet and all Trey like. But
Totally.
but
Yeah.
even if he didn't have his tone, say he had like a Jimi Hendrix Stratocaster tone, all that work he did would still be so impressive. So it's not the only factor there, but yeah, the rhythm is the big one. Um, Last thing I wanted to bring up, if we could just talk for a few minutes about what are some other Fish songs where Trey plays the vocal melody, verse, chorus, whatever, and plays that on his guitar. We'll go do a you go, I go thing.
Okay.
We'll go back and forth. You think of one, I'll try to think of one.
Well, it's
I already know a few because I'm premeditated. But
Oh, okay. Well, like the first one that comes to mind is another cover, which you actually already mentioned. Roses are free.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
or another cover. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to do one. You
let's
go.
go one. Let's go. Can you play the Roses one real quick?
Yeah.
It's foggy for me, but I could get it back after a few
Um,
seconds.
is it an A flat? I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
A flat. Yes.
Something kind of like that, and
Yep,
then later it
100%.
comes up.
Yep, it's the country rock thing.
Yeah, something like that, and actually, really. Oh, funny. You know
Oh,
what it's,
A
okay,
flat. What are you thinking of?
Boogie on. So
Yes.
that I was thinking of. Oh shoot. Wait, shoot. I'm thinking of just roses.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
I like
um,
the reggae, but too
yeah.
much
Oh,
too
there it is.
fast to me.
Across the floor.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the other one that came to mind where he kind of
Yep.
quotes that.
It's interesting. They were both in A flat too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool, man.
All right, so we'll do two. Those two. That was cool. I'll do another cover actually. No, I might be wrong on this because I didn't premeditate this one. I just got to think about it for a second. Well, I'm not going to do a cover because I'm not sure. I'll bring it up in a second. But a Fish song, "Stealing Time from the Faulty Plan."
Oh
Right, it's
yeah.
an A minor.
Yeah.
Right,
Love
that's
that.
one.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorites is, and is it a vocal melody? I know I can't remember. Well, I'll do the one that I know is "Birds of a Feather."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
uh, couldn't help myself with the
I was gonna
cross-eyed
say
kind of thing. It's
you
so
could go
similar, right?
you could go right into a quote of cross-eyed.
Now does Mama Dance do it? Where he's like,
Yes.
yeah, Fishman sings that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Totally. Yep.
I think. I'm
And
not.
it's another kind of Dorian
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Got any more?
Oh
Do a
gosh.
couple more.
Oh, what
Sorry
are
to put you
other
on the
ones?
spot. I thought it'd be fun for people to see us.
Let's see here. I was gonna say is in some ways it's not a direct quote, but "Down with Disease," the end kind of it reminds me of the rhythm of what they're singing, but it's not really quite what they're the notes. Let me think. Uh,
Oh yeah, this has all been wonderful.
there's no
Now I'm on my way.
now I'm on my way.
Absolutely.
It's like kind of an offshoot or an embellishment. Yeah.
Yes. That's a great one. Yep.
It reminds me of the rhythm of the lyric more so than the actual melody of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep. Another one I had was, I think, Character Zero, when he goes into that wah solo. Um, and I'm nervous or something. I'm just thinking of all these different melodies. I can't remember. I got faulty plan in my head. Maybe you can bail me out here.
Let's see.
What's the melody for
Yeah,
the
I think I got you.
the wall solo in Character Zero?
Let me go here. Is it like Well, I won't do the walk because I can't get my guitar in the frame. Is that what you're talking about?
I ought to see the Man Mulcahy, 100%.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, the man Mulcahy. Yeah, so that's another one.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a million more, right? I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring a couple
Yeah.
of those up to be like, this is a thing. Like this is a thing he does often, and maybe some people uh, don't really think of it when they hear it. But now it's maybe something that you'll be looking out for in other songs too, other than the ones that we talked about.
Jerry would
Um,
do that all the time too.
yes.
So like I think of like if you were to one of my all-time favorite songs, like not just Dead songs, but all time is Peggy-O,
Hmm.
and I feel like that's a good one to like practice or not practice, but like play the melody over it, and it's so beautiful and simple. But yeah, it's just such a great way to go, man, and I think that's kind of like not that we're talking about jazz, but that's kind of like what jazz was born out of,
I
which
think
is like
so.
which
I
is
think
a
so.
was sort of a foundation of the improvisational music that all came out of that. There's definitely some jazzy DNA in Fish's music, and if not, harmonically, definitely in spirit, in the approach. And yeah, man, this was such a good point to simplify. Think about and also what a great way to do like ear training and like you said, mapping out the geography of the fretboard. Like, okay, how many different places could I play that? This is a great exercise. Like, take that thing that you were doing and try to play it in all, like if you want to think of your pentatonic positions or modes like you call them, like do it in every spot that you can think of. How many different ways could you play that? How does the timbre sound in one versus the other? Which do you like better? Is there one that's better for a certain scenario? Like at one point Trey plays it lower, at one point he goes higher because he's trying to peak a little more,
Yeah.
and so it's important, I think. Like I'll do a similar exercise sometimes with students where I call it the Layla lick, da 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 da, like
Yeah.
the whistle
Okay. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and like, okay, now where is that all over the pentatonic? All of the positions you can play that, and the cool thing is when you play it in certain positions, you have to approach it a little differently, and I think it's a really cool exercise. But
Building on something you're saying about finding it in the different pentatonic positions, if that's for anybody like, you know, intimidating, or you haven't mastered or memorized all your different five positions, modes, or patterns or whatever, just what I call like a wormhole is the octave method. Just find the octave of that first note, and especially if it's a lick on one string, like I'm sorry, I'll zoom in here. If it's like that, and where's the octave of that? There's one. Where's the octave of that? Well, it's an A. Maybe it's not easy because I don't have that 2 over 3 up or 2 over 2 up octave. Or maybe that's an A. Maybe that's an A. There's an A. You just find your octaves to get you to that other position. And maybe that pentatonic position will open up too, because you're now sure of like, oh, well, that A was there, and then everything's relative or whatever. But that's a thought.
it's huge, and it just helps you get to know each one and what each area. Or like another cool way you could think about it is associating that with a chord shape or something like that. And
Yep.
each one is going to offer a different approach and a different sound. And kind of reminds me of Trey's Instagram video where he did C to shining C.
Yes.
And you could like kind of similar thing where you map out, okay, where's that one note. Now in that scenario he was doing a scale and a chord, but it's actually the same method as what you're describing here. It's just that you're applying it to the melody from this. And so it's more about, okay, what's the core concept there? Okay, it's taking the first note of a pattern, a scale, a melody, an arpeggio. Where is that? And if you can find that, it's not if, but when you find that, because you definitely
Right.
can. It's not. Even if you just like fumble your way through it and go, okay, there it is, and there it is, then you can find any passage, any again chord or pattern. It's all there, all of it.
Yeah, the guitar's a weird instrument, huh? Like you
Very
got,
yeah, very
I
good.
always like to say it's six different pianos,
I say it the same way, and not only
repeating
that,
C.
but they're starting in different places.
That
Yeah,
is the same pitch. That's the one key on the piano.
yeah.
C. That's middle C all over the place. It's yeah. And what did you say? It's. What was the last thing you said?
So if you can imagine 6 rows of keyboards, but here's the thing: not only are there 6 rows of the keyboard, but they're all in different places. They all start in different places. So like
meaning like up the perfect fourth. like because
Well,
of this
well,
the string tuning?
oh man, I think I've done a visual of this in some video. I
Oh,
can't
cool.
remember where, but like imagine like I layer six keyboards that are it's starting in the same place, A down here and C way up high. But then the guitar is not just that; it's not just six that you have to juggle, but they're all in different places, different registers. Is kind of what I mean,
Yeah, right,
So
right.
it's quite a but the blessing and the curse of that is that yeah, we have to know where stuff is in a different kind of way than a piano player or other instruments, but at the same time the level of expressiveness we can get out of that is like unparalleled. I mean it's so so
So,
vast.
something also I wanted to say about the guitar being kind of a weird, tuned instrument or whatever. And Trey talked about that in the Corey Wong thing a little bit, how all guitar players sound alike. And I think he was talking about composing, which was kind of interesting. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to mention, is that it is kind of a weird instrument, and a lot of guitar players get bogged down with like either the caged system or minor pentatonic, and then that's all they learn, and they're stuck there for 30 years sometimes. They don't learn all their major scales or chromatic, or think of it like a keyboard, right? And think of it like the human voice or a saxophone, which can only play one note at a time, and you have to think a little bit more theory wise in a way. But I just want to share a funny joke. I remember being in a big band in college, and I don't remember what song we were playing. This was 20 plus years ago. But the director was like he wanted to transpose the tune, and he's like, saxophones, get your pencils out. We got to move this up a minor third, and they're all upset.
Oh
And
yeah.
the bass player looks over at me, and he's like, "Hey, saxes, transposing all day long." She's
Oh
got
yeah.
F, G
Yep.
sharp, G. What I was gonna say is we get bailed out with the fact that it is a patternistic instrument. But
That's the weird
all
yeah,
day long, it's the funniest thing.
that's the weird thing about it is because like this is something that I've realized from playing a lot of piano and guitar is that like if you think about the piano for example, now it's not monophonic like a sax in the same sense, but it is in that there's or actually I don't want to speak anything about sax because I don't know anything about it. There might be multiple of the same note or whatever, but on piano there's only one of each note, and so because of that there are certain disadvantages and certain advantages. One of the advantages I would say is like once I started playing the piano in a serious way, the things that were floating around in my head on guitar became way easier to understand and see in that linear approach. However, that also means that because of the simplicity of it, certain things are more difficult. Like you might have to jump really far to do something
Right.
or something like that. Then if you juxtapose that with a guitar, the weird thing is because of the complexity of the instrument, it makes things really easy to move. like we are the movability of everything is
Yeah.
born out of the complexity of the layout of the guitar.
And
And so
sorry if I can, the
yeah.
opposite of that on the guitar, like it's important to learn things in a linear way so you can kind of see it like a piano, like it's not the best ergonomics to like play that way, but it helps you, think in whole steps, half steps, more in a theoretical way of like, because when you get, we often get taught, oh, 2 4 1 2 4 1 3 4, or a lot of people like dot charts and they just see dot 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 dot. There's absolutely no music theory in dots at all. There's beautiful geometry. You can see this diagonal or this diamond or whatever, and that's absolutely helpful for our memory. And whatever floats your boat. There's no wrong to being a visual player or just being an ear player. I mean, if you can go out and have fun or dump the truck or whatever the goal is, like it's okay to not learn theory too. I think a lot of people, there's a lot
100%.
of arguing online about everything, but like
Oh
you
yeah.
know it's okay, like it's okay
It's all good.
if you just want to be a pattern player or just by ear, or if you want to learn how to read music or get into the theory. I think all that theory stuff and reading music, all that stuff, it'll amplify, it'll help you more. And like you said, with your piano stuff, you could see the guitar better. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's in a way kind of a similar thing, like with theory, but
Yeah, maybe we could kind of close on this, and I'm interested to see what you think about this. But I think sometimes what it comes down to is just being really clear on what it is you're trying to achieve. Because then you can be realistic about your expectations. You can be realistic. Like, so for example, we've all heard the stories of, okay, fish practice like 8 hours a day or whatever. And I once had a similar kind of conversation with a student where he was kind of beating himself up a little bit. Why I'm not doing this kind of thing, and I think it was related to a fish song or something. I said, well, look, are you playing that much? Are you practicing? Are you doing putting in 10 hours a day or whatever? And he's like, well, no, I'm doing like a half an hour or something. I said, well, all things considered, you're killing it, man. Like now, imagine like now
right.
you just have to maybe adjust the expectation if you want that result. There's a certain kind of output or input you have to put in if you want that, and you totally could. But if you're comfortable where you're at, I think it's more like managing, okay, what are you trying to achieve? Like what kind of player do you hear yourself as? Do you want to be like a bluesy kind of player or a shredder? Like so, that's cool. Then there's a certain kind of path you would probably want to take to do that. That's a little different than if you want to be a jazzy player or somebody that just really has that kind of, like we were talking about the Stevie Ray Vaughan or Jimi Hendrix, like that's a different kind of path you would probably take for that. No, there's connections in all of it, but just be clear on what you're trying to do. I don't, what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah,
you're
and
doing
I think
that,
I've heard you say this exact language is well, managing your expectations. Like you don't want to put the cart before the horse or whatever. Of like, and also it's one thing to be inspired by our heroes, and or our favorite musicians, but we can't necessarily put ourselves in the same, like we can't necessarily compare ourselves to people. We can't compare, if you like, say you like to play chess, you can't compare yourself to a savant 3-year old who's going to be the world champion in a couple of years. Like why? Like you're that's just an ego battle that is going to hurt you in the end. It's kind of self, you know, you know,
yeah, yeah,
harm in a way. Not to use that word too much, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of self-defeating, I guess, to compare yourself to, you know, I mean, learn from them, obviously. And yes, you should play with better musicians. I think that amplifies your game. But when you get into that competitiveness that can be harmful. And I've said this many times, if there's anybody to be competitive with, it's maybe yourself
Yeah, 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 yeah,
without getting, being,
yeah.
being, cruel to yourself or
Not
that's,
cruel. Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Yeah, you just mentioned before we started recording, you had just finished the Molly Gabrian book, Learn Faster, Perform Better. And one thing that jumped out to me from just looking at her, and she's a violist and a neuroscientist, and she has this really great perspective. Read that book if you're able to.
Great.
But
Just finished it yesterday. Everybody
one
read
thing that
it.
jumped out to me that this kind of reminds me of is she mentioned she's like on a light day I practice like 3 or 4 hours or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't get competitive with it, but I was like, okay, that's what it looks like, for somebody that's on, she's playing symphonic music and on a
Right.
high level, and as a professor, I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool to see, okay, that's the, like when I'm talking about the input that you have to put in for a certain level, it's cool to see that. Now I have to make the choice, okay, what does that mean for me, and what can I learn from that? One thing I can learn is maybe I could carve out a little more time if I desire to elevate my playing,
Right.
that would require more time. Or I can say, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm like this middle-aged
Yeah.
dad or whatever, and I'm hey, it's
Right.
cool,
Yep.
and there's nothing wrong with that either. But one thing is, it's nice to see what people on a higher level are up to. Like, what are they doing? What? Because I read that and I was like, oh shoot, that's a light day for her. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
I wrote all that down because I was telling you earlier, the last chapter, she does an outline or whatever. And she talks about scheduling your time. She talks about, I don't want to give away so much of the book, but, practice journal and taking breaks and all these types of things. And she says an average day is 4 hours. Now, people, if you're still with us at this point, an hour in or whatever this says, read the book, first of all. She will tell you it's not 4 hours straight. She encourages taking breaks, and say you do 3 different sessions during the day, and within that first session, say it's an hour and a half, there's several breaks within that first hour, an hour and a half.
it's
So
huge.
it's really important, and she talks about sleep and all that. But and she even said she's like I don't have it in my schedule, kind of like, well, I don't know if you're saying this, but like, do I have the time to do 4 hours a day, like, with my family life or with my teaching life, or me, I'm going back to school and teaching, and it's like, damn, I'm not practicing as much as I want to be right now, but um, I think writing out a schedule, but like she says, she mentions taking naps and sleep or whatever is really important, but she admits, she's like, I don't have time for naps in my life, and some people just aren't nappers, but um she was like, there is proven science that it is helpful for learning or whatever. That book, man, yeah,
So
it's really
good.
great. But
Yeah.
that's a good note to end on, I think, huh? Any other
Cool. Yeah.
good?
I
Cool.
think that's good, man. A lot going on there. I think this was excellent. I love not only, obviously the jam you shared, but the main premise was really important, really powerful, empowering to, take the melody that's already there, use that. And no, man, I think this was really cool. I was pleasantly surprised. I was happy I guessed the gorge. That was kind of fun. No, yeah,
So
thanks so
beautiful
much,
there.
man. Great points.
Yeah, and thanks everybody who's liked and commented on the first rollout. We did that, what, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and
Yeah.
really happy to see all the support and the comments, and I'm hoping people are enjoying it. And give us a like on the video, subscribe to our channels, all that kind of stuff. And anything you want to say about what you're doing next week, or no reveal, or no surprises, or no hints? That's what I
No
meant.
reveal because I don't know yet, but
Okay, yeah, no worries.
I have a couple things I'm kicking around, but I'm not sure yet. But it'll be fun. I
Cool,
know that. So
awesome,
no, yeah, but we'll both be surprised. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks so much. Yeah, again for the supportive comments and stuff. Leave things that you may want to see us talk about, or just like if you have ideas on what was covered today or helpful things that that you use when you're jamming with this kind of thing. Let's help each other out. And no, thanks so much, and more to come.
awesome. Thanks everybody. Take care.
See ya.